Take a look at this headline from the New York Times. After a pandemic pause, ICE resumes deportation arrests. That's right, yours and mine favorite police agency is rocking and rolling in California. But the New York Times wants to put as favorable a spin on these illegal aliens as possible. Look who they chose as their representative. For Alicia Flores Gonzalez, August 4 began like any other day. She dropped her little girl at daycare and drove to work at a winery in Sonoma Valley. But as she was parking her white Toyota Tacoma, she found herself surrounded by several armed men. They're trying to say police officers here. You see the picture where these ICE officers are clearly wearing uniform, vests with police and ICE on them, badges, the whole 9 yards. But she says, "What happened? What did I do?" Mrs. Flores recalled asking them. Wow, let me tell you what she did. See, Mrs. Flores is 43 years. For 27 of those years, she's been living illegally in California. She went through the courts, exhausted all her avenues, and was ordered to leave the country in 2008. That's right, she's been hiding from the police for 12 years. Her number just happened to come up. Mrs. Flores was seized during a new nationwide enforcement operation announced this month. The first large-scale arrests and deportations in the interior of the country since the coronavirus pandemic halted field operations for several months. Since mid-July, immigration agents have taken more than 2,000 people into custody from their homes, workplaces, and other sites, including a post office, often staking them out for days. In Los Angeles, where this story was written, agents made 300 arrests. More than 1,000 others were rounded up in New York, Atlanta, Phoenix, as well as cities in Colorado, Idaho, Montana, Nevada, New Jersey, Utah, and Wyoming. I feel left out here. There are boatloads of illegal immigrants right here in Hawaii. When are we gonna get our visit from ICE? Come on, ICE, come to Hawaii. We could use you. About 85% of those arrested either had criminal convictions or pending criminal charges, according to the agency. 14 people have been convicted of homicide and 12 faced murder charges. Assault, domestic violence, and family offenses comprise the bulk of convictions or pending charges, it said. And so they ignored the huge bulk of people arrested because they weren't sympathetic to the cause of this article. They picked on Alicia Flores, who had been in this country illegally for damn near 3 decades, had her days in court, lost those court cases that she tried to stay in the United States, was ordered to leave the country, and instead of following the court order, ignored U.S. law and decided to stay. Let's take a look at the way LA treats these 300 arrests. This is the LA Times. ICE arrests over 300 in LA during month-long operation. Over the summer, even as the sheriff's department pulled back from cooperating with immigrations and customs enforcement officers, that's very important, federal immigration agents arrested over 300 people in the area as part of a month-long nationwide operation. There you go. Alicia Flores was one of those 300 people that were arrested by ICE. She's already back in Mexico because, like I said, she's already had her days in court. She was ordered to return back to her country, and she did not obey the law. Therefore, she's stuck now back in her home country of Mexico for the next 10 years before she can apply to re-enter the United States. The operation, which ran from July 13 until August 20, focused on those who have been arrested or have pending charges or convictions for crimes against people, according to ICE. That included people convicted of battery, rape, and kidnapping. You notice how in this story from the LA Times, how they said that the LA police agencies are not cooperating with ICE? Let's take a look at one last story. This is from Patch.com. ICE blasts LA's refusal to turn over jailed immigrants. ICE official claims about 100 people recently arrested by the agency in Los Angeles had previously been locked up in LA for serious crimes. LA County's misguided, oh yeah, I'm glad they have it in quotation marks, policy of refusing to turn jailed immigrants over to federal authorities is hampering U.S. immigration and customs enforcement efforts to protect the public, the agency official said Friday. Now, here's my further take on it. You see, the reason I brought up this last story about LA's refusal to turn over hardened criminals to ICE is very simple. If LA and the rest of California were cooperating with ICE, there would be far fewer arrests of people like Alicia Flores, who, although are illegally in the country, would be further down on the priority list. If LA was cooperating with ICE, keeping them occupied, processing these violent, illegal, criminal aliens, well, there would be fewer arrests for Alicia Flores because ICE just wouldn't have the time.